I'll call to order the Arvada City Council meeting for August 1st, 2022. I apologize that we're getting a little bit of a late start. We had a great recognition tonight for the Arvada community. The Red Rocks Community College did a naming ceremony for their what's one of their education rooms. It's also sort of the community room there, in recognition of the partnership between the city of Arvada and Red Rocks Community College. So we're all at that beforehand, and that got us off to a little bit late start. With that, I'll call upon Councilmember Smith to give us the lead off here for the moment of reflection and pledge.
Yes, please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kristen Rush, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Here.
Councilmember Marriott.
Here.
Councilmember Mormon.
Here.
Councilmember Simpson. Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Simpson from tonight's event.
Motions to excuse Ms. Simpson. All votes are cast. That passes 6-0. Ms. Simpson is formally excused from tonight's meeting. Next, we have the minutes of July 18, 2022. Do we have any changes or corrections? Seeing none, they will stand approved as presented. And if I could have representatives of the Historical Society come to the podium. A very august group. Very good. I've got a few words, and then we'll certainly hear from your representatives. 50 years ago, and many of us knew her well, Lois Lindstrom Kennedy, and a group of citizens established the nonprofit Arvada Historical Society and embarked on an ambitious program to preserve the history of Arvada and the surrounding area. These dedicated volunteers achieved wide-ranging goals in the first 25 years. They were instrumental in the creation of a cultural center and established the Arvada Historical Museum in today's Arvada Center. They completed the documentation necessary to place the Arvada Flour Mill on the National Registry of Historic Places, restored the mill, and opened it to the public. 3 books were published illuminating the history of Arvada from 1850 to 1941. The Arvada Historical Society created museum exhibits, continued to collect valuable artifacts, collected original documents and photos, and provided information for the walking tour panels in Old Town. As a result of meticulous research by Lois Lindstrom Kennedy, Gold Strike Park was dedicated in 1986. That was the site of the original gold discovery in the state of Colorado. In the late 1990s, the Society was instrumental in the city's establishment of 3 contiguous National Historic Districts, the Old Town Commercial District and the flanking residential districts of Reno Park and Stocky Walter, a rare collection in the United States today. In 2005, the Society established its first headquarters at historic McAvoy House at the invitation of the city of Arvada, and a new era of accomplishments began. The Society initiated a regular program of school history tours. The extensive collection of documents and photos was organized and made available to the public in the archives. Outreach activities like the annual Arvada Cemetery Tour, which is a great tour, were given greater focus. In 2010, the exterior of the Arvada Flour Mill was restored. Shortly after construction of the pavilion in 2007, the Belgian Cemetery was acquired in 2021, completing a process begun in 2014. 3 more Arvada history books were published, and in 2021, issues of the Arvada Enterprise newspaper were digitized and made available to everyone at Colorado Historic Newspapers and the Library of Congress. These accomplishments, among many others, were funded primarily by membership dues, and I am a proud member, fundraising events and donations, along with support from the City of Arvada, grants, and partnerships. The Society's work continues to this day, connecting current residents to the place where they live and sharing the story of how past generations shaped today's community. So with that, the Arvada City Council is proud to adopt the following proclamation. Whereas the Arvada Historical Society, a nonprofit corporation, is celebrating its golden anniversary, 50 years of preserving Arvada's history, in August 2022, and whereas the Society was incorporated on August 24th, 1972, a date chosen to commemorate the incorporation of Arvada on August 24th, 1904, and whereas the Society has documented, preserved, and shared the history of the people, events, and places that evolved to create today's thriving community of Arvada, and whereas the Society works with the City of Arvada and other partners to assure that our rich history will be available to future generations, and now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Arvada, Colorado, that the month of August 2022 be designated as Arvada Historical Society Month, encouraging all citizens to contact the Society to learn how settlements in 1859 have become, over the last 163 years, the Arvada we call home. Dated this first day of August 2022, signed by myself as mayor and all members of City Council. Congratulations.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, and City. This is, in fact, a real honor for us. I certainly haven't been around the whole 50 years. I've only been around 5. But a lot of the folks around me have been around a lot longer and contributed very significantly. Obviously, it has taken a lot of people over these years to accomplish all the things that the mayor so eloquently spoke of. Tonight, I just want to talk about one, Joanne Termentozzi. Joanne was a volunteer and board member for the almost 30 years, almost exactly 30 years. She had to retire last year and move closer to her family, and it just broke her heart to have to do that. Joanne was the one that worked with the city and was responsible for helping to get us into McElvoy House, and she was very, very proud of that. And since the day we moved in, McElvoy House was her house. I mean, she brought it to life. She was that tough love grandmother that you just automatically respect and love. We lost her on Saturday. She was to be interviewed for this article about this, but anyway, we appreciate recognition of the 50th anniversary. We have a lot planned this month, and we invite all of Arvada to get to know us better. We will be hosting National Night Out tomorrow night at McElvoy House, and Steve's Meat Market has just contributed wild game burgers and cheese dogs. So there's probably not a lot of National Nights Outs with that menu. And of course, we're going to celebrate the actual anniversary on August 24th with cake and ice cream at McElvoy House, and we hope to see all of you there. I've brought invitations, and if I may, Kristen, give them to you. Nonprofits have to try to save money, so we'll do that. But we also have something going on with our membership. Our membership numbers have dropped over the years, and members are so important. Volunteers, members, donors, that's how we keep going. And so Jolynn would like to mention something about that.
I am an old Arvatan. but I've only been here since '52. But anyway, on behalf of the Arvada Historical Society, I would like to invite everyone who is here who is not a member and to ask you to talk to people who are not members to take advantage of a membership this year during August. I have several of these that I can leave or pass out. And the thing that's very special is your first year membership is half price. So we'd really appreciate that. And yes, as Mark Williams said, you may also make donations. We are a nonprofit. Thank you very much. Anybody want these?
John Marion. He's okay. Yeah, we'll get him to you.
Okay, anyone else want to? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
This is a great group, and you see the people who are involved in this, and they are certainly people that have been very instrumental in a lot of the history in our great community. With that, we'll move to public comment. I have Mike Rauch.
Probably Mike Rawlug.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's got one all the time. Just want to thank everybody for being here, and I just want to say thank you for partnering with Mile High Flood and buying the dirt bike jumps and dedicating it to the park. That was a really special ceremony. Thanks for being out there and the cleanup and everything, and just, yeah, that's all.
Very good.
Very simple message.
Good to see you again. Catherine Rund. And then Gina Hollisay, you'll be after that.
Okay, is that clear?
It is.
I am here with Moms Demand Action, and I'm wondering if you all were given information about us or about the ordinances we're here to support. Were you given any information? Doesn't look like it. I'll make this quick. Moms Demand Action is a gun safety group. We're a national organization that was formed after the Newtown Elementary School shooting. And we're a national organization, and we work at state and local levels as well. And across Colorado now, we're trying to encourage the passage of 6 ordinances, and several municipalities have now adopted all 6. I'll go through them very quickly. Raise the minimum age to purchase and possess a firearm to 21, prohibit sale of military assault weapons, large capacity magazines, and rapid trigger fire activators such as bump stocks, prohibit both open and CC or concealed carry in certain public places, prohibit the possession of unserialized or ghost guns, those are guns that can be made from kits, and to mandate firearms dealers post a warning message regarding the dangers of weapons inside their home. And finally, create a 10-day waiting period for the sale of firearms. So we'll get these to you, but municipalities can and are adopting these ordinances. And I will also submit to you separately a portion of the Heller decision about the individual right to bear arms, where Scalia made it very clear that we do not undertake an exhaustive historical analysis of the full scope of the Second Amendment. Nothing, in our opinion, should be taken to cast doubt on long-standing prohibitions on the possession of firearms by felons and the mentally ill, or laws forbidding the carrying of firearms in sensitive places such as schools and government buildings, or laws imposing conditions and qualifications on the commercial sale of arms. I have 53 seconds left. I would just say I'm here because of the shooting death of a close friend of mine. I grew up in Arvada, graduated from Arvada West. When I graduated from the University of Colorado, a friend of mine from college got a job with the city of Longmont and was working in the city government building when a colleague of his complained to him. She had told her husband that she wanted a divorce and she was concerned about his behaviors. And that very afternoon, he walked in unexpectedly to the office and pulled a Glock from under his jacket. My friend Doug had already moved to be close to this woman as a protective instinct. He was shot twice in the chest. Another city employee was killed, and 3 others were seriously injured. And that is my history with gun violence. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Gina Hollisey?
Gina Hallisey,
I'm sorry.
14626 West 68th Place, and I'm here speaking as a board member representing the Ralston Valley Coalition. The Ralston Valley Coalition is a Colorado nonprofit corporation consisting of HOAs, individual members, and businesses in the Ralston Valley, which encompasses West Arvada as well as parts of unincorporated Jeffco. RVC's mission is to protect the community, natural resources, and quality of life we enjoy here in the Ralston Valley. Our members have made an investment in Arvada by working and living here and care about their community and the future growth of the area. RVC has encouraged our members to practice civic engagement to help keep Arvada a strong and vibrant city. Many have done so on numerous development projects that have come before this council in the past few years. I'm here to comment tonight to share with council the sentiment of many of our members in regards to the communication between the city and its citizens. Many citizens feel their comments fall on deaf ears and staff just checks a box saying they receive public comment. True civic engagement can and should be more. RVC has always promoted the concept that citizens should engage in the public process on issues in their communities that affect them so there is a better outcome for all. RVC has followed this process on numerous issues as well this past year. We always wear the uniform, so you know it's us. We have submitted written comment on issues, attended meetings to give public comment, such as I'm doing tonight, and even met with you all individually to discuss issues that the community has and they're concerned about. Most recently, we have put our questions in writing and submitted those questions for the record in the hopes of getting answers from city staff regarding upcoming issues that are very important to our quality of life in Arvada. RVC has also experienced what our neighbors have expressed in the communication process surrounding development projects in the city. We have mentioned this before on many occasions. And there needs to be a better process. And some of you have agreed there needs to be a better process for communicating with the public on upcoming projects in their neighborhoods. So I come before you tonight to ask you on the record if there's a reason why our questions have not been answered. Is there something else we should be doing as citizens to get answers on things that we feel will dramatically affect our communities and our quality of life? We want to engage in the process and have a voice in what happens in our city. And we look to you for guidance, to the council, for the best way to stay engaged and get our questions answered. So that's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight, and I wanted to share.
Thank you very much. Next, Dr. Adalia Massa Carroll.
Hello, and thank you. My name is Dr. Idalia Massa Carroll. I am a small business owner. I'm a resident of West Arvada in Layton Rock, and I am here as a Spanish-speaking resident that contributes to the community. And I am passionate about gardens and parks, and it is my understanding that there is an idea of naming a park a Spanish name, El Jardín, and I'm here to support it because, as a psychologist, open spaces are very important for our mental health and well-being. And as a Spanish-speaking small business owner, I want to feel included in this community. I want to feel welcome. And I think that having a park that is named in Spanish, it will not only honor my background as a Spanish-speaking woman, but it also allow everybody to feel welcome in this community. And this is a simple message. It's not controversial, hopefully. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sharon Davis. You won?
Yeah.
What did you win this time?
I get to see you wonderful people this evening. Thank you. Thank you. I, too, want to support the naming of the new park, El Jardín. It's very exciting. I'm so excited that you have listened to what the community wants and that you're taking into consideration APAC's recommendation for the name of this park. I've lived in Arvada for 20 years and have recently retired, so you might see a little more of me. And I, as a distance runner, am looking forward to running through a new park. And it just, once again, weaves us all together as a community. And I think that's what's really important. We want to be known as an accepting community. And Arvada is such a fantastic place to live. The Historic Society has helped me a lot with the Golf Advisory Committee, understanding why Westwoods is named Westwoods. So this has just been one of the most exciting things that has happened in a long time, just on a community level. So thank you so much for that consideration. I welcome any kind of feedback that you have for me, and good luck in the future. It's been a great evening. Thank you.
Great to see you again. Lauren Nafs.
Hi, I'm here as a small business owner in the Old Town area, and I also live about 5 minutes north of Old Town. Wanting to express some concern about something I'm sure you hear a lot about, which is the homeless issue in Old Town, which of course is only getting worse. I wanted to just share a couple experiences I've had as both a mother and also as the business owner from both sides. Over the winter, my husband and I discovered behind our building that it looked like someone had stayed the night there. You know, there was some cardboard set up. So we went to clean it up and discovered they had actually started a fire overnight to stay warm, which was of course concerning because that could burn our building down as well as an entire block of buildings. Recently, on a day where it was about 100 degrees, we went to leave and there was a couple parked in the driveway in a van that it appeared they live in based on what was in it. They looked like they were passed out in the van. Our neighbor actually came up at the same time we did and roused them. It appeared they were definitely on drugs in the driveway. And my concern was it's 100 degrees, they're in a car that's off. If we hadn't come along, there might have been corpses in our driveway the next day. Obviously not ideal. My young child at the fountain was once, along with other kids, there was a homeless man that exposed himself to probably 10 young kids there. He was arrested, but literally a week later, we were to the day, we were at the fountains and saw that same man come strolling up I'm back to all his friends, which was not great. Recently, my husband wanted to return books with my son at the library. There was literally someone sleeping beneath the book return. They had to go around to the back alley one that cars use to be able to return books. I mean, there's always people at the library. Usually it's not a big deal if you just kind of ignore them, but in the case where it affects the function of the building. I've had friends and family and customers express that they don't want to come down to Old Town anymore because they get harassed. I recently was sitting on our patio talking to someone that was interviewing me for an article, and literally while we were sitting there, someone came up and was aggressively trying to get them to give them money or food, was not polite about being turned down for it, and that's something that we experience on a pretty regular basis. I know that you guys have done things for this. I know this is not a new issue, but I feel frustrated that I know that a lot of it's on a state legislator level, I recognize that, but as a citizen, I feel like and I'm sure other people feel this way, our voices cannot be heard as clearly as people like you guys that have a little bit more sway, and I think it's something that would be great to be able to address a little better. I know that law enforcement can't really do a lot either, that everyone's kind of stuck in a bad position, but it's certainly getting worse, not better, from what I can tell, and I just wanted to express my frustrations. So.
Thank you for your observations and your input on this. It's a tough issue, but it's good to hear. It's not good to hear what you're saying, but it's good to hear from you so that we are hearing this.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.
Anybody else that wishes to address City Council at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on. For new business, we have one item on the consent agenda. That is a resolution accepting an annexation petition concerning 12016 West 82nd Avenue, finding that petition substantially compliant with CRS 3112-1071 and setting a public hearing for September 12, 2022, 6:15 p.m. for City Council to determine whether the area meets the requirements of Colorado Revised Statute 3112-104 and 105 and is considered eligible for annexation. Mr. Marriott.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that Resolution R22-052 be approved.
Motions for approval. All votes are cast. That passes 6-0 with Lawrence Simpson being an approved absence. Next, we have Resolution 22053, a resolution by the Arvada City Council in support of zero fare transit on RTD in August 2022. Mr. Devon.
Yes, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The Metro Mayor's Caucus Transit and Mobility Committee has asked metro area local governments to help promote zero fare for better air by passing a resolution of support. In response to that, we put this item on the agenda. Want to let everyone know that with funding from a State Bill 22-180 RTD, will provide free service on all buses and trains all day, every day in the month of August. By taking advantage of free transit, our residents can save money on gas and parking, avoid the frustration of driving in traffic, help improve air quality by reducing single occupant vehicles, and use their commute each day to catch up on work, listen to music, or read a book. I don't do any of those on transit, but I'm sure others do. We want to join the Metro Air in supporting RTD's initiative. And not only through, we will promote this through the adoption, our recommendation for you to adopt this resolution tonight. But if you adopt this resolution tonight, we will also promote it on our social media platforms and make sure everyone is aware of this opportunity to explore transit at no cost during the month of August. So we are recommending your approval of that resolution.
Very good. Mr. Mormon?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to make the motion and provide a comment in support.
You bet.
So I first move the motion, is that correct?
Correct.
I move that R22-053, a resolution by the Arvada City Council in support of zero fare transit RTD in August 2022 be approved. And I would like to just say that I am strongly in favor of this and excited that our city is going to be making this a focus for August, and I'm pleased that our state legislature has provided the funding so that we can have this zero fare transit and RTD. I know I have heard from many residents that are, impacted by air quality concerns and health issues related to that, and especially last summer, hearing from folks that just could not go outside. And of course, we are coming up on some that high time for ozone in particular. And so I'm hopeful that having this zero fare transit where folks can take advantage of that. I, for one, love to take the G line to downtown Denver to go see a show, to go out for, or for meetings that I have in Denver. And so I encourage folks to just try it if they haven't. And I think the G line is a great asset that we have in Arvada to utilize as much as we can, and this is a great opportunity to do that. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of it and give it a try.
Thank you. Mr. Marriott?
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to make a comment, too. I also want to encourage our citizens to take advantage of this. This is a great opportunity for a new adventure. Just this yesterday, my daughter and I walked to the train station and went downtown and had breakfast at Snooze in downtown early, and came back and went to the farmers market. And it really, the G line has really expanded our world. It's made our reach larger very easily, and I think for folks who have not yet ridden it, it's a great opportunity to get on it, pick a day, go somewhere, and experience it. I think once you try it, it will become a regular part of your routine. I know it has for us. So again, I support this as well.
One of the things that sadly the pandemic brought was a real decrease in ridership on both the Gold Line and other transit lines within our community. And it's the hope of RTD in discussions with the Metro Mayor's Caucus that this will be a reintroduction of this way to get around to folks. And frankly, we've had some pretty stern discussions with folks down at RTD of, you better be on your best game and your best performance and carry through and be successful with this so that people will indeed want to continue to ride either the trains or the buses. And they are indicating they're making a real commitment to that. Not only will it give Arvadans the opportunity to go downtown Denver, but it's also going to give all those trapped Denverites the opportunity to come out to the burbs and enjoy all the great things that we've got to offer here in Arvada. So with that, I will also be supporting. All votes are cast. That passes 6-0, Ms. Simpson being a authorized excuse, although I know she is a frequent rider on the Gold Line, and therefore I'm sure would have been supporting this as well. Next, we have first readings. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that Council Bill 22-054, an ordinance rezoning certain land within the city of Arvada for Howard Ranch, a 13.11 acre parcel of land from the city of Arvada RA Residential Agricultural District to City of Arvada R6-Residential 6 District, and amending the official zoning maps of the city of Arvada, Colorado, generally located at 14760 West 64th Avenue, to be approved on first reading, ordered, published in full, and a public hearing date set for August 15th, 2022 at 6:15 p.m.
And then we have a second one.
And Council Bill, I move Council Bill 22-063, an ordinance amending certain provisions within the Land Development Code of the City of Arvada Code, be approved on first reading, ordered, published in full, and a public hearing date set for September 19th, 2022 at 6:15 p.m.
Motions for approval on first reading. All votes are cast. That passes 6-0, Ms. Simpson being an authorized absence. Next, we'll move to our public hearing. I'll open the public hearing on a major modification from the Land Development Code, subsection 2-1-3-3A, to allow for a reduction in the side setback from 7.5 feet to 3 feet with RN 7.5-foot zoning to allow a garage expansion generally located at 6446 Iris Way. Mr. Devon?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, will have Planning Manager Rob Smetana introduce this item.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As mentioned, this is a request for a major modification for a side setback reduction from 7.5 feet to 3 feet within an RN 7.5 zone district. The modification would allow for the construction of a two-car garage instead of an existing single-car garage on the home. The neighborhood has predominantly single-family garages, although a few homes in the area have had additional garage space or carports added over time, and several detached garages also exist in rear yards. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of the major modification request at their July 19th meeting by a vote of 6-1. We have received the signed posting log and mailing affidavit, and they are in order. The applicant is in attendance for presentation and questions. We also have Jenny Wolfschlag and Linda Hoover with staff here available for any questions as well.
Very good. The posting log and mailing affidavit will be made part of the record. And with that, anyone who wishes to testify in this matter, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that testimony you'll give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You may proceed.
Eye view of the Google image.
And if you'll state your name and address for the record.
Dorian Kraus, and I'm the owner of 6446 Iris Way.
Thank you.
Do you have control over that?
I don't have control tonight, so if you can just...
It's towards the end. You can just scroll, keep going. It's when you see like real colors. There. Okay, so here's just the Google image, So as Rob stated, I'm looking to reduce the side setback that's currently 7.5 feet down to 3 feet. In the image on the top, you can see on the north side is where my current garage is. On the image on the bottom is the elevation view from the street. in that elevation view, you can see the extension that I added just to show what a two-car garage would look like in that view. On the north side is where it would be going about 9 feet beyond what it currently is at. If you go to the next slide over, please. Thank you. As you can see in the top image, the roof pitch will continue as the existing roof pitch has, and the drainage has been addressed in many ways. One, the pitch of the roof. The new gutters will continue along both the east and west sides and then attach to existing drains that are right at the intersection of the garage and the main house. The facade will be, as it appears here, half brick, half siding that will match the color of the existing house. And then within the remaining space between my property line and the new building exterior, there will be a swale that addresses drainage within that space and then drains down towards the street. Additionally, the space between my property line and the neighboring property, which is 6448 Iris Way, will not be touched. The grade that is existing currently and will stay the same is sloping down from their house towards my house. So I'm really addressing drainage for my benefit as well as the neighboring property. And that is pretty much it.
Okay. Do we have any testimony in opposition to this tonight? We had received an email at one point, and that will be made part of the record as well. With that, and I'll close the public comment portion, open it up for City Council questions or action. Ms. Smith?
I'll make the motion if anyone has anything else.
I don't see any specific questions being brought up.
All right. I move that a major modification from the Land Development Code subsection 2-1-3-3 alpha to allow for a reduction on the side setback from 7.5 feet to 3 feet with RN 7.5 zoning to allow a garage expansion generally located at 6446 Iris Way be approved. This motion is based on the findings of fact adopted by the Planning Commission.
Very good. Mr. Marriott?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. So looking at this case, this reminds me very much of a bunch of cases that I saw when I served on the Board of Adjustment many, many years ago. This was actually a fairly common case, and it brought back kind of my thoughts from back then, which were that, you know, a lot of Arvada was built, some a long time ago, very little of it, but a lot of it was built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And as time has moved on, the way we live is very much different than it was when these residences were built. In the 1950s and early 1960s, having a garage at all was quite a luxury. Most families would have owned a car. Very different today, where families generally own a car for each member of the family who's old enough to drive. And so the way we live has changed. And our built environment at times needs to be able to change along with the way we live. And these things can sometimes be a little bit difficult because we're trying to fit something in that wasn't originally made that way. However, I think in this particular case, as I looked at it, the most important factor of this would have been a drainage issue. But the applicant, I think, has done a fantastic job of both taking that into account and taking action to mitigate that on the neighbor, that this extended garage will catch water that would have gone on the ground before, and it'll be directed away from the neighbor's house. And so I don't see that being an imposition on the neighbor. And I think this is a good modification that helps this house change with the way we currently live. And so for those reasons, I will be in support of this change.
Very good. If council members will cast their votes. All votes have been cast. That passes 6-0, Ms. Simpson being excused absence. Congratulations, you've been approved. I know you.
I'm proud of it.
Very good. Congratulations. We have no other public hearings. Is there anybody else that wishes to address City Council in public comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the second public comment portion. Any reports from City Council tonight? I see none. Mr. Devon? I'm sorry, Mr. Pfeiffer.
It was more of a question of public comment with the Moms for Action. Did we get a copy of what they were referring to at all?
We have not seen a copy of that.
Okay. Okay. Just curious. I mean, I took quick notes, but maybe someone.
I assume they'll be getting us something.
We
Okay.
could reach out to the.
Just curious what they were referring to.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Devon?
No updates, Mr. Mayor, City Council.
Ms. Morris, the floor is yours.
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good. We stand adjourned.